to become stronger, to believe in magic, to become more independent. With all these precious characters, from Charmed, Planet Terror, one of my favorites, Jawbreaker, and Pretty Little Liars, of course. So I wanted to know, what can we expect more appearances in horror and mystery in films or series from you guys? And what's driven to portray such characters?
I don't think either one of us have any large aspirations to be in front of the camera anymore. I think if the right thing came along, it would be something, but I keep telling people I'm retired.
And for me, my life kind of turned into a real-life superhero movie that I can't seem to get out of. There's a lot of stuff that's constantly going on behind the scenes that I don't share with the world, but I've had to survive a lot of unique situations, like kind of living in a Born Identity kind of movie. It's gone transition from being in movies to like being in a life that feels like a movie that I can't quite get out of. It's interesting. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I come here and it's like, I got off the plane and the flight attendant said, "Welcome back to reality." And I said, actually, for me, this is an inversion of that.
Thank you very much. And right over here, you're next. Go ahead.
Hi, long-time filmgoer, first-time questioner. I just had a question. I know, like, sometimes working with other people is really hard, and I'm wondering what kind of advice you would have to give to people when you're working in a situation with people who don't maybe necessarily like you or you don't get along with. How do you deal with that?
Well, for me, when I kind of arrived in the States, I went to a lot of different kind of schools on military bases, and I always caused a ruckus. Like people just would always respond strangely to me. Like within the first 5 days, there'd be a group of girls that wanted to kick my ass, and I was like, "Who the hell are you, Tanya?" So they would be like harassing me. And one time when I was about 11, I was walking down this hallway. It was like Moses parting the Red Sea, and there was girls on either side yelling and shouting like, "You're ugly, you're weird, freak, da da da," because I came from Italy and I looked different. So I just would, I have a superpower of showing up and doing what I need to do and not engaging, but also occasionally like breaking the fourth wall. I remember hearing this young girl say like, "How does she do that?" to another girl, like, "'Cause I could just sail through the hallway, like you don't exist." And I turned to her and I said, "It's simple, you don't exist in my reality." And I broke her brain and I kept going. And that's how I achieved my life. But really, honestly, for me, it was always about like the work, no matter what was going on behind the scenes, and my communication through a camera to frequencies to the audience on the other side was vastly more important to me than whatever bullshit was going on behind the scenes. And so, is there feedback on this mic? Okay, so it was, is it still doing it? Okay. Thank you. So, for me, it's also just like, it's hard. I have had at times to go to hypnotherapy because I couldn't keep somebody's energy off me and I was getting really sick. We're trying to fix the feedback. It's very annoying, sorry. But the best thing you can do is literally just, with narcissists especially, do not engage. Bore the shit out of them. Just boring responses, do not engage. Boring response, do not engage, because they want to pull you down. And it gets exhausting to work with someone that wants to bring you down, but you're better than that. Keep going. You got this.
Yeah. I second that.
That was good. Thank you for that. Go ahead. It's your turn now.
Hi. I was wondering. Oh my gosh. Okay. I was wondering what your favorite outfit or costume of a character you've done is.
I always think of the ones we didn't like first. I know you didn't like the goddess one. The goddess one was okay for me. The Amazon ladies, that was kind of okay for me too. We had some weird things. I didn't like the superhero one either.
The superhero, I was like, fuck my life. But now I see it and I'm like, oh, isn't that charming? I love that.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck this shit. Sorry for all my cursing this morning, everyone. It just woke up one of those days.
Good morning, it's Sunday. Happy Sunday.
Okay,
For
go
me,
ahead
my
over
favorite
here.
was probably, I love the costumes in Jawbreaker. And actually, there's an article out today. It's the 25th anniversary of Jawbreaker and celebrating Vicki Brinkert, who was the costume designer on that. And she slayed that movie. We really, we didn't come to play in that one. So those are probably my favorites.
I like my Excalibur costume. That was okay. I'm good
Because you got a sword?
Because I got the sword, but I was fully clothed. I like that part.
That's the rarity, isn't it?
They don't really like to cover up women, do they?
Not that day and age.
Yeah, no kidding. Go ahead over here.
Okay, my question is actually sort of opposite of hers. If you had carte blanche to have any guest star on Charmed, who would it be?
To have anyone we didn't have, because we had so many good ones. Anyone that we didn't have. We can't have Meryl Streep.
Yes, David Bowie.
Hey, that would have been amazing. Like that.
Maybe a little Labyrinth storyline.
Or just bring in Falcor into magic school. Let's do that.
Buffy?
Yeah.
They never let us have any fun, I swear. Literally. Like, that was a no-brainer.
Didn't they consider making a full motion picture though in Charmed? Wasn't that on the table at some point, or was that just a rumor or just fan fiction because we all wanted it?
There's rumors weekly.
I never heard that one.
Yeah.
Really? Well, I did. Did you dig
Maybe I
deep?
heard it and forgot it. I never really
There's rumors weekly. I mean, CBS just doesn't hear people, I think, and they own it, so there's not much we can do.
It's your turn over here.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Over here, right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
I'm a new fan of Charmed.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Love the show. I just wanted to ask, what got you guys into acting, kind of choosing that career path?
My mom wanted to be an actress, and apparently I was giving her instructions on how to do it better. I was 8, maybe 9. So I have to take her word for it, but I doubt that it was as awful as she makes it.
So her mom basically said, "You be the actress," and Holly was like, "Okay, got this."
Yeah, and she quit.
For me, I was skipping school in Seattle, and I saw a flyer that said, "Do you want to be an extra in a movie?" And the only movies I'd really watched at that point were from the 40s and the 50s, so it wasn't really like that modern. And it said it paid $38 a day, and I was like, right on. So then I did that, and I met someone who was starring in the movie, who was a child actor. He was a star in a movie called Near Dark, which to me is like one of my favorite vampire
Oh, that's
films
a good
ever.
one.
Josh
I agree.
Miller. And his mom brought me to LA. I did like one line in, I think the movie was Encino Man, and I was like, they didn't give me my SAG card, and the people on the Disney set were dickheads, and I was like, these people are losers, goodbye. And I went off and I did my life again for a few years. And then I was back in LA visiting, and I had a boyfriend that died, and I was standing against a wall of a gym crying. And a woman came up and asked me if I was an actress. And I was like, no. And it was apparently the perfect attitude for the character that she was helping her friend Greg Araki, this director, cast in his movie. And 2 weeks later, I was starring in a movie called Doom Generation. And here we are.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you for your question. It's your turn. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is for Rose. So from Scream, Charmed, Jawbreaker, Planet Terror, and more, I've been a really long time fan of yours, so it's a real pleasure to meet you. My name's Sarah, and so in Planet Terror, I read that they had put your leg in a medical cast and they wrapped it in green and gray first aid tape for the machine gun leg scenes, and so I was wondering how difficult it was to move around in the cast, especially doing the action scenes like running, squatting, kicking, because anyone who's seen Planet Terror, there's a lot of action in that, especially with that big cast on.
Thank you, Sarah. What a brilliant question. It was incredibly challenging, and I lost a lot of weight during the course of that film from like the stress of kind of everything happening, but also the physicality of it. I train quite hard, but because my leg gets eaten off by people infected by a lab leak, you know how that goes, and replaced by a table leg, we know how that goes, and then later by a machine gun leg, everybody can relate. They had to put it, this toe was these toes were taped kind of pointed up, and it was a two-piece locking cast that locked, and then with kind of a green situation with LED lights on it. And on this side was a 4-inch high heel boot. And then I had to run as fast, jump over a 10-foot wall and wires, get my arms through the wires like within a millisecond before they got cut off by the wires. Land, spin around, kill a bunch of zombies, and put on my glasses and be like, that's right. That's right, I did that.
Yeah, in high heels.
In high heels. One high heel.
One high heel. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But how did you fire it?
I didn't think about how I fired the gun until after I was done with the movie. I was like, wait, how did I fire that? And I was like, oh, obviously magical pelvic floor muscles.
Go ahead over here.
So this is for Rose specifically. So on a similar note to that, I was wondering what it was like doing all your stunts in Scream. I read that online.
Well, that was my first time doing stunts, and it was really, really cool, actually. The woman that, the young woman that was my stunt double in that, in Scream that they got for me, was bigger than I was. She was more muscular on her legs than I was, and because I had worked so hard on Tatum's costumes, going to the mall and picking out all her dresses, her skirts, and things like that, I knew that the legs, would be a feature in the movie. And if all of a sudden going through the garage door, or a doggy door in the garage door on the way to her sad, untimely death, people would be like pulled out of the movie if they saw a different set of legs, right? So I was like, well, I'll do it. And so the first time I did it, I fell through it was a real garage door that went up and down quite high. It was a big one. And I think I went up and down in it like 10 times. And I had bruises, like kind of doggy door shaped bruises. But the positive side is that even years later when I had a Pomeranian, I still snuck into many houses of mine through doggy doors when I locked myself out. And you always learn something on a film. Skills. Ew. And my throwing arm is off. I have terrible aim. So Wes Craven had them put a Duvetine, a piece of black fabric next to the camera with a big X on it because I kept missing the trajectory that they wanted me to throw the beer bottles at Ghostface. But, so once they put the big X on it, I threw the bottle, but I threw it right into the camera lens. So that caused a situation, too. I told them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Holly, I do have a question for you because your podcast, the three of you are hilarious. And
Thank you.
I'm not sure, are you allowed to give an update or is there something coming? Because I know have you guys seen the podcast? Woo! Still, you should. It's hilarious. The three of you are hilarious together.
We have fun. Yes, we do have a deal. We are going to iHeart, which is a good thing because more people will hear it.
It's you and Shannon and Brian.
Shh. Nobody knew that yet. Okay, she did it. Okay, I didn't say anything.
No, I had no idea. Like, nobody told me anything. So I know she's a guest star on it.
No, she's a co-host.
Okay, well, I was just trying to get out of it.
We're backtracking now? Damn it! You're not good at lying.
No, it's not my forte.
Yes, she will be joining as soon as she signs the contract. I'm gonna check my phone later. And hopefully you'll join us. Yeah. Brian and Drew.
Brian and Leo. Oops,
Brian/Leo and Drew/Chris. Yeah, no, it was me and the boys, and then she who shall not be named.
Can we all promise to keep that a secret? Everybody,
don't tell anybody. It's fine. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that is awesome news. So thank you. Sorry about that.
No. It's coming. It's coming. I swear. hopefully it'll be similar, pretty much the same.
Well, it's awesome. So looking forward to that. So thank you. Go ahead. It's your turn over here.
Hi, my name is Daria. I wonder, since The Charmed is about magic and mysticism, did anything really mystical happen during the filming process? And do you personally believe in mysticism and magic in real life?
I think I do. I think you do quite a bit.
I've always had a fairly mystical life. Even growing up in a hippie commune, there was a lot of things that I saw or would communicate with that weren't like to other people physically there. I've always seen animals all over the place, and then I look twice and there's no animal there. So it's like animal ghosts, or I hallucinate animals since I was a child all over the place. I don't know what it is, but I do. It was interesting though, doing the show, my brain refused to memorize any of the spells. It would not accept it. There was like a wall to them. And I don't know what that means. They would have to write them on a big piece of poster board and stand behind the camera for me to do whatever incantations it was. My brain was just like, absolutely not. But since then, and especially living in Mexico and going through Latin America, more South America, there's a lot of mysticism, and a lot of my favorite writers and painters are very much into that. And so yes, the answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's your turn over here. Go ahead.
Hi, this is for Holly. My name is Alyssa.
Hello.
My mom's told me to wish you guys hi. She wishes she could be here with me.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Tell her we said hi.
We've watched you guys from day one. Grew up. Sorry.
Are you crying?
A little bit.
I can't see you, but I just
I'm
want to know.
really excited to meet you guys. So this is
Thank
a little.
you.
My question is, from season 1, when you and Leo first met, throughout all the rest of the seasons, and you have that amazing journey we see, you find him, you lose him, you find him, you lose him.
Right.
What was that like for you on a personal level?
It was hard. I was the one crying all the time. He didn't have to cry very much.
The episodes made it seem like he cried too, though.
He tried sometimes. He tried. But, you know, it was a hard relationship, and I think, you know, the problem with TV shows, if suddenly they're happy all the time, and it's happy ever after, well, the story's over. So you kind of have to have that struggle, and we did have that struggle all the time. But I'm glad we made it. Because, you know, the show could have been about our dating life being awful for the longest time, which it was. And we sort of didn't want to portray that as just the ladies unlucky in love all the damn time.
No, they gave that to me.
Right.
I'm sure the rest of the world was appreciative that you guys made it too.
But it was tough for me because, you know, I was friends with Brian and his wife at the time. And so it was like definitely like kissing my brother, which he's aware of. He doesn't take offense to it anymore. But yeah, it was hard to, it was hard to like portray that like sexual heat.
Oh, it's super creepy when you have to kiss someone. When you have to kiss someone on screen that feels like a brother, you're like, like actually that happened to me because in Scream, sorry, nobody asked me a question, but I'll just say it anyway. I asked a question of myself, and that's points out. David Arquette in Scream was my brother, and then I did this goofy wrestling movie called Ready to Rumble that I was talked into doing, which I kind of has a soft spot in my heart. And he was like my love interest, and I had to like straddle him, and I was like,
it's not all fun and games, people.
No.
It's not.
Thank you.
But I'm glad you guys liked it.
yes.
Thank you for your question. Okay, go ahead over here.
Hello. So Piper and Leo were like the love story of my entire teenage years, just me sobbing in the corner. Do both of you have like a favorite like love story or relationship that took place on the show? And why?
Place on the show? Hey, I thought Neighbor Dan was real sweet. I really did. I don't think that storyline got its due, really. He was supposed to come back. He was supposed to come back in season 8, which would have been really interesting, but his other job at the time would not let him go. But he wanted to. So that story is yet untold. Okay?
And I had a low-key crush on and thought they should have developed the Mr. Perfect guy, Deep Tissue Masagas.
I mean,
His name, I'm pretty sure, was Eduardo Verastegui.
So good.
Verastegui? Wait.
I did not see him as a brother.
He was pretty incendiary. He had a vibe, and he only did one episode. But I was like, I think they should keep that going for all and more, and I'll just be over here watching.
He was something else.
Something else.
Thank you.
Go ahead, it's your turn over here.
Hi, I'm Oliver. Sorry. So I was just wondering, what's your... Sorry.
Okay.
What was your favorite part of being on the Scream movie?
My favorite part was probably bringing that character to life. I mean, there's two sides of it. There's the set side and then the character side. And how she's lived on in so many people's lives. And my goal creating Tatum was that I wanted her to matter. I wanted people to feel like, oh no, like a friend of theirs kind of left the building, right? And that they would remember her and that she wasn't just a disposable human. And so the fact that so many young people still love Tatum, like, means that that goal was achieved. On the other side of it is Wes Craven and the whole cast and crew, which was just a really magical experience. It's just a rare thing when it's all the things are like sometimes you have magical behind the scenes, but the movie doesn't turn out well. And then sometimes you have bad behind the scenes, and the product is great. But that one, it was all of it, and it was a beautiful experience. Thank you for having me remember. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hello, this is a real thrill for me. I'm in the middle of my 1 millionth Charmed marathon.
Hey.
My brother-in-law was like, they're going to be at Fan Expo.
Aw, well, thank you.
Anyway, so I got to choose a question, and I think it's, what is your favorite episode or story arc from Charmed? Or alternatively, was there one that you were like, oh, we have to do this?
They tried to make us sing once, and we were like, not doing the musical episode. Sorry. So we did say no to that.
Was that before me?
I think it might have been.
Yeah.
Because you would have been okay with it.
I don't like musicals, but I would have done a musical episode, probably.
No, but it was like singing one song, and the song choice was not one.
No, probably not.
So, no, we said no to that. But I did like, Piper didn't get a lot of weapons. She was the weapon. So when they gave me the sword, I got to actually do fight scenes, and that was fun for me.
I liked the adoption storyline, Page from the Past. I liked that, and for years, and still get a lot of people that have been through being adopted or a family with an adopted child or had adopted, that meant a lot to them. I also loved the Charm Noir episode where I got to go back in time, and that was amazing. They actually, the car that they hired for that was Joseph Kennedy Sr. It was JFK's father's car,
wow,
which was from the 1930s, and he would have he was having an affair with a silent film actress named Gloria Swanson in the back seat, and I shot in that back seat. And we Paramount lot, which is one of the most beautiful lots in Hollywood, and interestingly enough, Gloria Swanson was in Sunset Boulevard, and they go to the Paramount lot when she,
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. Danelle.
that, and she's like something about can't remember, it's not me that got small. It's like the pictures that got small.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The sword has come up a couple times. Did you get to keep the sword?
I did keep it.
Do you have it?
I do have it. As long as my sons have not moved it, I do still have it.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that.
It's usually under the bed. Now everybody knows. See, we're not good at keeping secrets. Yep.
And Rose, what about you? Did you ever take anything from set that you still have?
Yes, I have the original bottle of wine from Scream, but that was when Scream was originally called Scary Movie. And it says Scary Movie on the label. We shot in the wine country part of California. So we would have a lot of wine at dinners, and I was the only one who didn't drink it, and I saved it. It's somewhere in storage, but it says Scary Movie. And the studio at the time, nice folks. they were like, Middle America is too stupid. They won't understand Scary Movie. And then, of course, they made a series of Scary Movies.
Thanks for that. Okay, go ahead over here.
PhDs keep
Hello. Hi, Holly. Hi, Rose.
Hi, sweetheart.
I just want to say, Holly, I want to ask how Daisy is, your goat who thinks it's a cat. How is Daisy doing?
That's Billy.
Oh, sorry, Billy.
That's okay, you were close. I do have a dog named Dixie, so that was kind of, don't worry about it.
My sister's named Daisy. She could be a goat.
She's doing fine. She's getting a little aggressive, a little bossy, which is, she probably shouldn't have named her Billy.
Maybe you should have named her Shannon?
She's acting a little bit like a billy goat. And she's headbutting the kids a little bit. So
that's funny.
I'm going to have some words with her.
I'm like, let's see how it develops.
Yeah.
And then, Rose, I just wanted to ask you about something that nobody's mentioned here. What was it like working with Brendan Fraser on Monkey Bone? Because that is one of my favorite outfits of your entire career.
Thank you. That was an incredible costume designer. I want to say Colleen Atwood, but I might not be 100% right. But that was Henry Selick, who directed Coraline and James and the Giant Peach and other amazing things. But Brendan is an amazing human. I love Brendan. Just the kindest, funniest, sweetest, talented. I'm so happy for him that he's doing well. And that movie, you know, again, Hollywood qualifying for negative PhD scores. They fired Henry Selick in the middle of filming. The studio was 20th Century Fox at the time, and it was like kind of all these like suits that would just come to the set, and he was a very internal and quiet man and a genius, but didn't play like the Hollywood game. And so all these kind of macho dickhead types in suits fired him and replaced him with them. And so the movie is based on a graphic novel series called Darktown. And that was the property they bought. And halfway through filming, they changed it to Downtown because they were afraid that Darktown would be perceived as racist. And I'm like, I think it shows your internalized racism, or not internalized, that you think that, what the fuck, you bought the property, freaks. Anyway, it was an amazing experience. The clothing, the costumes, the creatures on that set, like extraordinary. And I love that people still love that movie. I know what it could have been, so I'm a little more attached to that side of it. But love working with Brendan. Super happy for him.
Yeah, it was definitely along the same veins of sort of Cool World that came out in that sort of time period. And I just love it. I watched them back to back. It's
awesome.
Great.
We can do it.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, sir.
My question is for Rose. For Ready to Rumble, what was it like working with the wrestlers?
They were so sweet, and they were all gentle giants, to be honest. And I have never felt so physically small. I am physically small, but they were like, and they were just like, that was a really bizarre period in my life, for sure. Another one where I was like, where am I? What's happening in my life? What? But I love that people love that movie, and I love that I made friends with a lot of those wrestlers. And like, I remember loving, like, Diamond Dallas Page was like the coolest guy ever. So that was cool.
Thank you very much. Go ahead over here.
This is a question for Rose, but what was it like working with the Scream cast?
They're awesome, and we're still friends to this day. It was, you know, a really unique time, and we were all really, really young. And for me, I didn't really have a normal high school experience. I didn't really go, so that was the closest to my kind of high school experience. And like David and I would get bored and chase prom cars, prom limos, and crash their prom parties. We hung out together. We did a lot of things together, and it was just we didn't, I think, have any concept that, you know, of time or success or anything like that. But it was just, we knew there was like a special frequency happening. They're awesome. I'm sure if you've met some of them, you know how fun they are. Thank you.
When you were, both of you started very young. Well, I know you, Kimberly Brock from Picket Fences. Anybody else? Picket Fences? You should watch it. watched it under the radar with my dad. He wouldn't let me, so it was worth it.
It was a little ahead of its time. I guess.
The kiss.
Yeah, he kissed. That was the first teenage lesbian kiss ever. David Kelly had a way of dropping bombshells weekly. And yeah, he called me at home to let me know that script was coming.
How did you feel about that? I mean, it was ahead of its time.
It was. I think there had been one other lesbian kiss, but it was from adults, and I think it was L.A. Law, and I think that was David Kelly's fault too. And what actually happened was he wrote the script, CBS was very involved, and they wanted us to optically darken the scene so that people couldn't see us kiss.
Like a kiss in shadows.
As clearly.
If you guys only knew how like phobic these people really are, how much they pretend to be like super like not, but yeah.
It was, and at first they wanted us to basically turn off the light, cut to after the kiss, and come back, and David was like, no, then people will think more happened than what actually happened. So that was their compromise, was to optically darken it. Like they go outside to an outside shot of the house, and the light clicks off, and then you come back to this like basically two heads. And yeah, that's as much as they would show at that time.
That's clutching the pearls, right?
Right. So then when I got
clutching their invisible pearls forever.
Right. When I got the Pretty Little Liars pilot script, I was like, are you sure we can do this? Like, I was scared. And my agents are like, no, it's the best thing that's out there right now. And I was like, are you sure? You know, it wasn't our only episode that was blacked out. We had other episodes that were blacked out. We had Mormon episodes that were blacked out in Utah. Like, yeah, it was quite a ride.
Crazy. Thank you for that. Thank you, friends. Right. Go ahead over here.
Hi Rose, hi Holly, I'm Tano. This might be more of a Holly question than a Rose question because I don't have any billboards to help remember lines, but for Holly, what's your favorite incantation on the show or spell?
Favorite incantation? I think the truth spell. That was a fun one. It went well. No. How did it go? No.
How are the words?
Say the words.
Okay, listen, we've already gotten in trouble enough up here. I'm saying things we shouldn't say, so
thank you.
We're gonna leave that there.
Well, Rose, you must have had a favorite one too, maybe. No?
No. I couldn't remember any of them. I literally then or now. I mean, I participated and I acted, but it was like when you memorize 10 pages of dialogue per day for 5 years. And it's like 12 to 17 hours a day. There's just, even your own life, it's like kind of like putting water in you know, straining pasta, like it falls, like your memory falls out. And sometimes stuff you want to remember falls out of there. You're like, oh, but they don't really have a choice of what falls out of that pasta strainer sometimes. And those spells just fell right out.
Yeah, I mean, there were people, you know, in that day and age that accused us of putting too much energy out with these spells. And it's the classic case of you can never make everybody happy. So some people felt like we were actually putting real energy out into the universe, and other people felt we were not authentic enough.
I mean, there really might have been some people on certain levels that were. I wasn't one of them since I was completely like walled off to it, but it's quite possible.
Right, yeah.
Hi ladies, big Charmed fan, and there's one episode where you talk about the outfits that you guys end up wearing being really skimpy. So my question is, favorite and least favorite costume?
Gosh, my least favorite was definitely Glinda, the Good Witch. Not because it was her, but because it was scratchy, it was pink, it was definitely polyester, and it stank. It stank. Like they tried to like dry clean it and it just retained the fumes. It was not healthy at all. And there was a really awful blonde wig.
What's your favorite?
My favorite? I don't know. It's hard to choose. I like Future Piper.
Wendigo?
Not Wendigo. Not. No. That was the yellow contacts that almost killed me.
I just say no to contacts. You have to fight with them.
That was the last time I did contacts. And I liked Excalibur Piper. A lot of black in those pieces.
I liked Evil Enchantress Paige with the I had long dark hair at the time, and then it was this amazing green kind of medieval costume gown. That was really cool. probably my least favorite was when I had to dress like kind of a weird, if 2004 was channeling a hippie. Fucked up combination. I'm just saying. I was not happy. And
the striped pants?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
The striped pants.
There's a point in the beginning of working on Charmed, I would really like fought for my costumes, and then I just got so tired. I was like, whatever. And now I'm like, damn girl, should have kept that fight alive. I couldn't. I was like, whatever. And here we are.
And here we are. Thank you.
So we only have time for a couple more questions. That's the bad news for you. But the good news is they will be doing photo ops, so you can just head over to the booth over there, grab your photo op, and then you can actually meet them in person. So we're going to come to you, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you. Holly, Rose, thank you very much for showing up. And thank you also for being in the trenches in a really tough time in Hollywood for women in general, and underrepresented population specifically. With the success of things like Barbie, things are changing. With a $833 million verdict judgment against a horrible preacher, horrible things he's done to women. How do you see Hollywood moving forward? How much farther do we have to go?
I think it's moving forward slowly and painfully, but moving forward inch by inch. You disagreeing with me?
Oh, I don't think about it. I don't really care. All right, that's the God's honest truth. I can't care about, because I still know too much about behind the scenes, and then there's there's the front facing and the back behind the scenes, but I have heard just from people in general that they feel a lot safer on sets, so that's amazing, and just kind of worldwide in different jobs. If that's happened, that's amazing. I do think that it does seem to be a trend to kind of tear down stars in a way, not saying that some don't deserve it, but I think to basically usher in everyone wearing like goggles at home and never leaving your house, which I'm not a huge fan of that idea. So it's a strange time in Hollywood, I think, in general, in that world, you know. I mean, and being in a hotel, I've had regular TV, and being, you know, in an English-speaking or French English-speaking country. And it seems like with TV, like stuff, like, I'm like, are you even trying anymore? Like, are you even trying? Like, so I think there's kind of a death going on in Hollywood in content, but it's kind of like they're doing it to themselves. But at the same time, some things, when they really succeed, it reminds us how much fun going to the theater can be, how much, you know, more of a comedy plays when we have other, like a human experience. And I think it's amazing to not forget that we are human and we deserve to have human experiences.
Last question to you over here.
No pressure.
Hi. So I wasn't sure if you guys have like stunt doubles for all the action scenes on Charmed, but do you know if there was any close calls or accidents that ever happened?
We had like rock star stunt girls. We really
They were
did.
badass, yeah.
And we put them through the ringer on a daily basis. I mean, if they didn't get hit by the car right, we just hit them again. And, yeah, I mean, they were badass though. We didn't really break any one of them terribly or permanently.
When I did first started Charmed, I would do quite a few of my own stunts, and then I just got tired, and I was like, oh wait, I can sit down for half an hour or an hour. Like, cool, yes.
Where's Dana?
Dana's and I had an amazing, lovely, talented stunt woman who doubled me. Dana, what was her last name? I'm blanking on her last name. It's early. Sorry, Dana. But I also had her double me on Planet Terror. But in Planet Terror, I did all of my own stunts except, sorry, Dana, I didn't want to be dragged through the dirt and have a bunch of zombies on top of me attacking me, because I was like, if I have 4 men on top of me, I'll rip their fucking faces off and bite someone's ear and spit it back in their face, and I won't be able to act anymore. So Dana, please take it. And she did. She was awesome. And she even got like great body movement. So it's not just the stunts, it's how they actually like there's a point where my stunt double had to get up, and being me, she like took her skirt and kind of went like this. Like they study your own body movements, you know. So there's a lot involved in it, even beyond just getting thrown into walls and flying through the air. It's a pretty cool job. I was always jealous of that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Can't wait for your announcement coming soon. That nobody mentioned anything about it.
You heard nothing.
You didn't hear anything.
Saw nothing.
Right? And Rose, Brave is amazing. If you haven't read her book, it's outstanding, and it's on audiobook. You have to read it.
Highly recommend the audiobook. It's like me hanging out with you for a couple hours or more. But yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for spending time in Vancouver with us. So photo op over there.